Standing waves, the invisible architecture of sound. The most important structures inside a resonant chamber cannot be seen with the eye. They are built from moving air. Imagine standing inside a large stone chamber with a single drum. You strike the drum once. The sound rushes outward in every direction, reflecting from walls, ceilings, and the floor. Most people imagine those reflections simply bouncing around until they gradually fade away. Sometimes that is exactly what happens. But under the right conditions, something far more remarkable can occur. The reflected sound waves begin interacting with one another. Some reinforce each other. Others cancel each other. Instead of chaos, order begins to emerge. The room itself creates an invisible pattern suspended in the air. Physicists call this phenomenon a standing wave. Ancient builders never used that term, yet they may have experienced its effects thousands of years before the mathematics existed to describe it. When sound meets itself, every sound travels outward as a wave. When two waves meet, one of three things generally happens. They strengthen each other, they weaken each other, or they create an entirely new pattern through interference. If the timing is exactly right, a remarkable thing happens. Certain locations within the room hardly move at all. Other locations vibrate intensely. The sound appears frozen into position. Nothing visible has changed. Yet the air inside the chamber has organized itself into an invisible geometric pattern. Nodes and antinodes. Standing waves contain two important regions. Nodes. Nodes are locations where very little movement occurs. At these points, sound energy from opposite directions cancels almost completely. A person standing at a node may notice that a particular tone seems unexpectedly quiet. Antinodes. Between the nodes lie the antinodes. These are regions where vibration reaches its greatest intensity. Here, the same note may sound dramatically louder. A singer walking through such a chamber may discover that a single step changes the apparent strength of the sound. The room itself has become part of the musical instrument. The geometry of a room. Every enclosed space has preferred frequencies. These depend upon length, width, height, wall materials, ceiling shape, openings, surface texture. A perfectly rectangular room behaves differently from a circular chamber. A vaulted ceiling produces reflections unlike a flat ceiling. A dome can concentrate sound toward particular regions. Long corridors may emphasize entirely different resonances. This is why no two ancient chambers sound exactly alike. Each possesses its own acoustic fingerprint. Stone versus wood materials matter. A thick granite wall reflects sound efficiently. Heavy limestone behaves differently from soft sandstone. Wood absorbs more energy than polished stone. Curtains, carpets, and furniture dramatically reduce reverberation. Many ancient ceremonial spaces were comparatively empty. Their massive stone surfaces reflected sound with remarkable efficiency. Modern visitors often hear these spaces under very different conditions than the original builders intended. Could ancient builders hear the difference? One question often asked is whether ancient architects intentionally designed chambers to produce specific acoustic effects. It is an intriguing possibility. Builders did not require electronic instruments to recognize good acoustics. Consider a master mason. For decades, he works with stone. He strikes blocks with a hammer. He listens. He notices which pieces ring clearly. He observes how different rooms respond to voices. Over generations, practical knowledge accumulates. What begins as craftsmanship gradually becomes tradition. Whether every acoustic effect was intentional is impossible to know. But it would be surprising if experienced builders ignored phenomena they encountered every day. Sound before science. Modern acoustics emerged through mathematics. Ancient acoustics emerged through experience. The difference is important. A medieval cathedral choir did not calculate reverberation time before singing. They simply learned which tempo sounded best. A cave used for ceremony did not require frequency response graphs. Its users could hear its unique qualities immediately. Knowledge does not always begin with equations. Sometimes it begins with careful observation repeated over centuries. Standing waves in nature. Standing waves are not limited to buildings. They appear throughout nature. Ocean waves can form standing patterns in enclosed bays. Wind creates oscillations in mountain valleys. Strings on musical instruments vibrate in standing wave patterns. Even the Earth itself experiences standing seismic waves after major earthquakes. The principle is universal. Nature continually organizes vibration into patterns whenever conditions permit. Architecture simply provides another environment in which these laws operate. Resonance and human perception. Standing waves influence more than sound levels. They can affect how a room feels. One location may seem calm, another unexpectedly powerful. Low frequencies may be felt through the chest rather than heard by the ears. Long reverberation can make speech difficult while enhancing music. These effects help explain why different architectural styles evoke different emotional responses. A cathedral, a cave, a concert hall, and a recording studio each create distinctive acoustic experiences. Their geometry shapes perception. The 1 in 10 Hertz question. Among researchers interested in archaeoacoustics, one number appears repeatedly: approximately 110 Hertz. Measurements at several prehistoric sites have identified resonances near this frequency. Some preliminary neuroscience studies suggest exposure to tones around 110 Hertz may produce measurable changes in certain patterns of brain activity under controlled laboratory conditions. These findings deserve careful attention, but also careful interpretation. A measured resonance is not evidence that ancient builders understood neuroscience. Likewise, a measurable physiological response does not demonstrate mystical effects. Instead, the evidence suggests an exciting possibility. Ancient builders may have discovered through observation that certain spaces enhanced particular vocal ranges or created memorable sensory experiences. Future research will determine how much of this was intentional and how much resulted naturally from architectural design. Visualizing the invisible. Modern engineers often use computer models to reveal standing waves. Color maps show high-pressure regions, low-pressure regions, reflection paths, energy distribution. Such visualizations make the invisible visible. Ironically, ancient builders may never have needed them. They could hear the room, feel the vibration, observe how voices changed with position. Experience became their measuring instrument. Lessons for modern architecture. Many contemporary buildings prioritize efficiency, speed, and cost. Acoustics sometimes become an afterthought. Ancient architecture reminds us that sound is part of the human environment. Hospitals, schools, libraries, places of worship, concert halls, homes, all influence our well-being through acoustics as much as through appearance. Perhaps one of the forgotten technologies of the ancient world is not a machine at all. Perhaps it is the art of designing spaces that sound as beautiful as they look. Looking forward, standing waves reveal that architecture possesses an invisible dimension. The next question naturally follows. If every room has preferred frequencies, what determines those frequencies? Why does one chamber resonate at 63 Hz while another favors 110? Why do some echoes disappear quickly while others linger? The answers lie in harmonics, overtones, and the mathematics of vibration. Understanding these relationships will bring us closer to deciphering the remarkable acoustics of ancient temples, caves, cathedrals, and underground chambers. Research notes: well-established standing waves arise from the interference of reflected sound waves. Room geometry strongly influences acoustic behavior. Stone chambers often produce longer reverberation than furnished modern rooms. Nodes and antinodes can be measured and modeled with modern acoustic equipment. Active areas of research: whether prehistoric builders intentionally optimize chamber acoustics, how resonance influences speech, music, and ritual performance, the relationship between chamber geometry and measurable physiological responses, applications of ancient acoustic principles to modern sustainable architecture. Global Robotics Corporation, Robert Colee.